Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are back in action this weekend. They take on Fulham at Craven Cottage, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Welcome to the PRTV Spurs Preview Show. Good afternoon and welcome to PRTV Spurs, your channel for all things Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, whether it's the preview, reaction show, talking points, ratings, whatever you want to talk about Tottenham, come and join us because as always, we're always here. So this weekend is a game against Fulham at Craven Cottage, and joining me to do the preview is, as always, Sam, Spurs for Life, and Mr. Sean Tottenham to Fossey, who's not been too well, but he's back. He's come back to join us. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Yeah, in good spirits after last weekend's game.
Got to do some housekeeping. Sorry, 1 second.
That's all right. That's all right. That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, obviously, good win last weekend, Sean. Massive. I said it was a massive game that we needed to win, and some people agreed, some people disagreed. But at the end of the day, we're now moving on 3 points, and we're 2 points behind Aston Villa. And now we're hearing the news that the 5th position might, or more than likely, it's going to go to the Prem. So 5th now becomes available, hopefully, for Champions League. So we could be in with a shout.
Yeah, I mean, you could say technically that this is our game in hand tomorrow. Although it's obviously we've got to play Chelsea is the fixture that we're missing. And I think as Alistair Gold was saying on his channel, there's a quirk of the fixtures that we actually play 2 games before the other teams around us get to kick a ball in anger in the Premier League. And we could really be amongst it. We could be right in the mix, sort of. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to have a revival of could we, but we would be only a few points off the top of the table if we were to win the next 2 games, and they are against Fulham tomorrow, and then Luton Town, who can take a 3-0 lead and still can't win a game. So. It's an interesting quirk. I'm feeling much better after watching that game in a pub in County Down last Sunday. A game which I thought we controlled from beginning to end, to be honest. I think we probably saw the most pure form of Ange ball all season last weekend, and let's hope we can do the same again to Fulham, who are not going to be easy. Good at home. Have had some very significant victories recently, and particularly at home, they've beaten Arsenal, for example, at their place. So yeah, it's let's hope for good things.
Sam, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I was just putting on the internet Arsenal versus Bayern Munich, Man City versus Real Madrid. Yeah. Oh, that's nasty. Sorry, we're talking about Tottenham. I agree with Sean. From what he said, I did exactly the same thing last night. I had a look at the league table, knowing that we had a couple of games. We should at least have the notion in our head that they're both winnable games. Fulham, Luton, not the 2 toughest teams in the world. But as Sean's already said, and we all agree that Fulham won't be an easy test. But given what we've done against Aston Villa, albeit with 10 men, I'm looking for 2 wins. And then we're amongst it. And like I said, I'm not looking for us to win anything in terms of the league, and not to say we're in the race, but we're mathematically not out of it. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, and like I said last week, I thought it was a big game, a game that we needed to win. We've done that. We've won the game. Now we're 2 points behind Aston Villa, which we've, like Sean said, this is our game in hand. So if we beat Aston Villa, we go 1 point above the Villas into 4th position. So tomorrow's game, gentlemen, tomorrow's game, confidence should be very high at the Tottenham training ground. I don't think they need to fear Fulham. I don't think they need to fear Luton, City, Arsenal, whoever. On our day, we play the way we got to play. We can beat any team. And I think there's going to be teams looking at us. Because remember, and we'll discuss this not today, but maybe further on, we hold the key. We have the power to disrupt the Premier League in a matter of a week, 2 weeks. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting starting tomorrow. So Fulham, 5:30 p.m. kickoff at Craven Cottage, our second away game on the bounce. And 33 times, guys, we've played Fulham. They've won 7. We've won 19. 5 at Craven Cottage. We've won 8 times at Craven Cottage. They've beaten us twice at our place. We've beaten them 11 at the Hotspur Stadium. 7 draws. So looking at that, we've got quite a decent record at Craven Cottage and at, well, versus Fulham. Sam.
Yeah, a very good record against Fulham. I can't remember too many times when I've like thought, yeah, Fulham. But again, the same sort of thing. Marco Silva, smart enough manager to be able to tactically adjust to what we're going to bring. And I think the fact is most teams, regardless of how high they have in terms of their possession, will actually respect the fact that we are probably one of the highest in terms of possession-based teams in the league. So I think that they might adjust how they play. I can see it being more of, as always, a transition game away from home. But they may spring a surprise and try and, do like a Bournemouth and maybe upset a little things by what's the word I'm looking for? By changing their game up. So it might be a lot of pressing in the early stages and a little bit of dropping off to confuse how we play. But I expect us to get 3 points tomorrow.
Sean?
It's I mean, an unpredictable game if we're considering the now, but our history against them is very good. I think, in actual fact, I think we've got management. We managed to even squeak a win with Harry Kane this season, as I seem to remember. So yeah, I'm expecting us to win. I don't think it will be as comfortable as last week. And that's with or without the sending off. I thought we were well in control of the game last week. But we just need to bring our A game. We need to bring the game from last week with us. And
yeah,
can we do that? Hopefully so.
So previous 5 meetings, as you mentioned, 13th of January 2021, 0-0 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 4th of March 21, Spurs 1-0 at Craven Cottage. 3rd of September 22, Spurs 2-1 at the Hotspur Stadium. 23rd of January, 1-0 to Spurs at Craven Cottage. And 23rd of October 2023, 2-0 to Spurs at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we've had 4 wins and 1 draw in the last 5 meetings, which brings me...
Sid, you know what we need to do for next time when we do these things is to put what manager was in charge at those points, because I don't even know who was in charge of these games now. Obviously, there's a couple of Contes in there. Is there a
21? So I'm thinking, Conte, Mourinho.
21 must have been Mourinho.
Yeah.
But what's his name? The bearded one in there somewhere. He must have been in there somewhere. Yeah.
If you two discuss it, I'll continue. I'll check it out.
The reason I mentioned that. Sorry, go on, Sean.
I was going to say, I think March 21 is definitely Mourinho, because I think that was when Dele Alli scored that goal. Remember, there was a kind of breakaway and he sort of did a flick with the outside of his foot.
Okay, my memory's not that great anymore.
Yeah.
22 must be Nuno then. 22, 3rd of September one must be Nuno. Surely.
Yeah, in one of the 3 games that we had at the beginning of this. Oh, I thought we won them all 1-0.
Right. So
yeah.
4th of March, 1-0. It was 4th of March was stupid computer doesn't work.
No, it's no problem. The reason I was saying that is because obviously from this perspective, I think, the results show a clear,
It was
low
Mourinho.
scoring.
Sorry, Mourinho, 4th of March, 21.
Yeah. And then September, that must have been, what's his name?
And then September 22.
Must be Nuno.
When we beat 2-1, it was.
Yeah, because he was in charge of us.
It was Antonio Conte.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So Nuno didn't even get to play against him. Oh yeah, because March, obviously, September's the following year. Yeah, sorry, it was in that season. Yeah, of course it was. So 21-22 was the Nuno season. Yeah, okay, makes sense. So from a Conte perspective, then those are clear results. You can see the 2-1s, the 1-0s. I expect it to be a high-scoring game tomorrow to us, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for goals tomorrow.
Yeah. Sean, looking at the record at Craven Cottage, then this is how far we go back. 4th of December 2013, Spurs won 2-1. Kirikes and Lewis Holtby.
I saw that Holtby go on Spurs social media this week.
Yeah, and then January 2019, Spurs won 2. Delhi and Harry Winks. 4th
that was
of
last minute winner.
Yeah, 4th of March 2021, it was an own goal. And the last away game, as you mentioned, Harry Kane. So last 4 visits to the Craven Cottage in the league, we've won.
Tight games, though. They're tight games. 2-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0. One game, one goal in between. I think that changes. And I don't think it changes for Fulham. I think it changes for us in terms of more goals being scored. So, yeah, I suspect a good game tomorrow. I really do. Just looking at the tables.
Yeah, Fulham, as we said, are good at home. So they obviously like to raise their game when it comes to London derby. But I think we've got the bit between the teeth now. We know that what we're shooting for, and last week should give them plenty of confidence. After let's have it right. Villa are a much better team than Fulham.
Yeah.
And we more than coped with them.
Yeah. So last 5 games then, Spurs drew 2-2 with Everton. Fulham beat Bournemouth 3-1. We beat Brighton 2-1. They lost to Villa 2-1. We lost to Wolves 2-1. They beat Man United 2-1 at Old Trafford. Crystal Palace, Spurs beat them 3-1 at home. They beat Brighton 3-0. And then we beat Aston Villa 4-0. They lost to Wolves. So their record then is 3 wins, 2 losses. We've won 3, lost 1, drawn 1. They've lost 1 and won 1 of the last 2 away games, whereas we've won and drawn 1. I don't. Last 5 fixtures, you know what, is hit and miss because they've beaten Brighton, they've beaten Man United, but Man United sort of hit and miss anyway. They've also beat informed Bournemouth, I'm assuming, at that time, and they've lost to Wolves like we did. So, looking at that, Sean, last 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, it suggests that that there's not a great deal of difference between the 2 teams.
Yeah.
Other than our standout results. Our standout results obviously last week, and theirs was possibly the win at Old Trafford. But again, you can look at other factors like position in the table, number of home wins, and if we go back further in Fulham's thing, I think that they had 2 5-0 victories on the trot at home. So they're a bit of a, they're kind of a, what do they call it, a Marmite team. You don't know what type of team they're going to turn up. And let's hope tomorrow it's more a case of, the team that we can beat rather than the team that wants to be prime Barcelona.
Yeah, I agree. Sam?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the stats not so much the stats, but just the forwards and against in the league. Fulham, just for comparison, they've scored 40 goals in the league, conceded 44. If you can then compare that to 18th team Luton Town, they've scored 41 goals, conceded 59. So they don't score that many. They concede a few. They're where they should be, 12th, and that's where they are. So again, looking at the results previously, the one thing that stands out to me is that they seem to not concede, or when they lose, they don't lose by much in the last 5 games. They've lost by the odd goal. So again, they're going to be a tough challenge.
So the season so far then, Fulham are 12th, Tottenham are 5th. They've won 10, we've won 16, 5 draws apiece. They've lost 13, Spurs have lost 6. Average goals scored per match. Do you know what? They're scoring 2 and we're scoring 2.19. Conceding 1.43 to 1.44. Clean sheets 1.57. I don't know where they got that from. We've kept 6. Chances created 1.39. We've created 2.33. Biggest win 5-0, like you said, Sean. Ours is 4-0. Their biggest defeat is 5-1. Ours is 4-1. So in terms of goals scored and then goals conceded, it seems like it's quite a sort of even again.
Just looking at your clean sheets, though, I'm sure that can't be right. 1.57 in terms of. I was gonna say they've either got 2 or they've got 1.
I don't know where the 1.57 come from. You carry on with that. I'm just gonna double check.
Again, just looking at that, and I'll just be quick on that one. Yeah, the goals scored are very similar. Even the goals conceded are very similar. But it's the win and loss thing that for me, they either win or lose. So I expect that to be very similar tomorrow. Although they've got the same amount of draws as us, we've obviously got a lot more wins. So I see it being a game of we get possession. We will have the majority of possession. Marco Silva teams as well would like to have possession, but they're going to have a way of playing. He's going to obviously try and get a bit more of a what's their strength? How will they see their strengths? And the home form is probably one of their strengths, as well as the fact that they're safe. They're 12th. They're in no danger of going down. 35 points on the board, but they're probably not in any sort of race to get European football. So, what type of game should we expect? Just a team that comes out relaxed. Is that a good thing for us? Possibly, because they might come out to play their game for their home fans, but they might come and spoil the party as well. So, yeah, we'll get to the predictions in a bit.
7 clean sheets. So they've kept 1 more clean sheet than Spurs, and they're 7 places behind us. So there you go, Sean.
Yeah, I know it's disappointing to see the clean sheets, but that was a very good one last week. And I think probably the better stat to look at is expected goals against. And the trend is definitely downwards now that Romero and Van der Ven are back. So we're actually conceding less, against the XG of goals conceded, we're definitely dropping downwards. So, I think I watched the review show of the game that you boys did, and it's, in the end, the point was made. The most important stat was Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 4. And whether that was whether it was 1-4 or 2-4, that it's the 3 points that counts in the end. And now we're at the business end of the season. It's not necessarily performances, although last week was a really good performance. It's about points on the, just grabbing those points, stuffing them in the bag, and getting back to Dodge. So let's concern ourselves with finishing 4th. I don't want, I know 5th has now become a possible entry into the Champions League, but let's shoot as high as we can.
And what do points get? Prizes, which potentially could be Champions League. Right. So moving on to the next one. Team-wise then, I didn't see it's going to be the Pressy today, isn't it? So I'm assuming it's going to be same as last week. I think Richarlison is still going to be out tomorrow, from what I gather. And then obviously Van der Ven injury. They're still not saying anything. They reckon it could be one game, but medical team are going to look at it, and they've said that.
Sid, can I add? You know, Spurs did that thing for disability this week. You know, you see the lovely video with Ange and the boy Owen.
Yeah.
Ange did a little, you know, interview with Sky Sports. He definitely confirmed that Van der Ven won't be available.
Yeah.
And the training video seemed to suggest that Richarlison was around. Whether he was with the team or the sports science people, you know, you couldn't tell. So, you know, if he's back, I would say he'd make the bench at best.
Yeah.
So yeah, just thought I'd add that in while.
No, that's fine, because I know Van der Ven's thing. They're gonna, I think, find out today, and they said that if there is worse than what it is, then Ange will update us today.
It makes no sense playing him. It's an international break coming up now.
Exactly.
Give him if you can't take him out and put Dragusin in for a game against Fulham, then there's no opportunity for Dragusin to start games, in my opinion, because we've got April to come. So yeah, it has to rest him.
I agree. And before we go on to the team, if you're already watching, whichever format you're watching on, please make sure you subscribe to PRTV Spurs, Paxton Road TV. Just takes a second, smash that like button as well, and give us a follow. So, looking at the team then, this is what I'm predicting anyway. I'm not predicting a riot, but I can predict the team. So, it'll be Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Destiny Ugidi, Christian Romero, and Dragusin, for me, has to make his Prem full debut tomorrow. Midfielder says the same: Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison, and for me, front three. Why change something that worked really well last week? Son up top. Sean, agree, disagree?
I think, yeah, I mean, based on last week, obviously it's different opponents, and it may be that I don't know who plays right back against for Fulham. So, you know, Johnson had their left side on toast, or their right side on toast, I should say, last week. And he's probably very confident at the moment. You know, I mean, you can swap him out with Werner if necessary. But yeah, no, I don't see any reason to change the team.
Yeah, I agree. Sam?
Potentially a couple changes for me. Back five will be that back five. Van der Ven's obviously confirmed. For me, two midfielders are definitely nailed on. Sarr and Maddison, and Kulusevski and Son are definitely nailed on as well in terms of style. Son potentially and Bissouma potentially are the two ones that you could change, not because of form, not because of
Johnson.
Johnson. There we go. Johnson or Bissouma could be two players that potentially could. And not, as I said, not because of form, not because of anything like that, but just because of maybe possible tactical changes. Now, if we're likely to see Werner stay, go, whatever it is, on the amount of money that he's is, I think he should possibly start tomorrow and bring Johnson. Not because Johnson did anything, but just to keep that, you know, momentum going in terms of competition for places. And Bissouma, again, we did well with him last week, but he was the one that almost was the catalyst when we started to play not so good in that first half, and he gave the ball away. As I said, he gave the ball away a couple of times, as close to giving away a penalty as well. So he's the one that Bentancur could possibly, and even Højbjerg, you know, never know with the defensive side of things. Højbjerg could have a shout, but I don't think so. It'd either be Bissouma or Bentancur starting.
Yeah, I'm just under this impression where you've just had a massive win, 4-0 against Aston Villa away from home. Second half, you was absolutely awesome. Why would you change it? Why would you then bring in, like you said, Sam, if you wanted to, Werner, bring in Bentancur? Why would you? Why not just keep it as it is and do the same last week? Wrap the game up and then bring the players on, give them a good run out, let them. Werner came on, scored. Bentancur came on and done cash, which was good. You know, Højbjerg came on, done what he had to do. You know, did a bit of, woo, what's going on here? With Højbjerg, yeah, that for that last goal. So I don't think Postecoglou changes it. But then again, we've said this many times where we've predicted a team and then he's gone and changed it. So we will see tomorrow 4:30 what he
He's
does. with it.
definitely obviously forced into one change with Van der Ven Dragonson, so that will be definite. That's a 100%. For me, if I look at those two, the three midfielders, Sarah Madison had great games. Like, I don't think Basuma was fantastic. I think he was good. And for me, again, Kulusevski seems to be the one that's always going to make that start on the right-hand side. Now, is it the best position? If Johnson's playing, I think Johnson should play on the right, but you're not going to get Kulusevski out the team, in my opinion, at this moment in time. So it's going to start like that. So it's either Johnson or Werner on that left. And it wouldn't make a difference to me. Either one, Johnson or Werner, are impact players, in my opinion. Both can start and both can do well, but they seem to have more impact when they come on off the bench. But Johnson has done well so far, and Werner obviously the last few games.
Yeah, and I think you've nailed it there. I think it's good to have two players that can have an impact. So whichever one starts, you can have the other one. You know what I mean? I think this Donna Cullen's got a thing for you. He's got the hot for you. Do, 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 do. She's got anyway. Sean, what are you saying then?
Yeah, ain't saying nothing now, are you, Sid? Ain't saying nothing now, are you?
Yeah, but I'm reading the comments. I'm reading the comments from last time when she was asking you, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Sean.
If only it was Donna Cullen, eh? But anyway.
I know. Sean, do you reckon then he sticks with this, or has Sam got a point with Basuma and Johnson?
To be honest, I mean, Basuma had a very shaky first. Well, he had a shaky 5 minutes where he gave the ball away unnecessarily. But I think for the rest of the game he was absolutely on point. So I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to swap him out, to be honest. My only concern is that Sarr is carrying an injury. He's carrying a back injury, and I hope that that's not going to impede him tomorrow. I love the fact that he before that magic cross from Madison's goal, he seemed to stumble, and when he came off, he was limping quite badly. So we'll find out at 1 o'clock today. When Ange does his press conference, what the state of the play is. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, I you know what? And the other thing, right? I know because I've got to go in a couple of minutes, but
you got thrown off then, didn't you?
I did.
You got thrown off.
He's not going to put that, folks. He's not going to put that comment up.
No, I'm not, because someone is actually taking the biscuit here now. But what do you call it? Dragusin? Or is it going to be Emerson Royal, Ben Davis? It can't be, can it? Draguson's got to start.
Listen, there's no chance of Ben Davis or Emerson Royal starting at centre back, unless, of course, Dragusin is not 100% fit, which I don't see that being the case. He has to start. He proved when he came on, we were 0-0. Don't forget that fact. We were still 0-0 when he came on the pitch and didn't concede a goal. I know they went down to 10 men, but for me, that just suggests that it's comfortable. There was a couple of moments on that right-hand side, on their right-hand side, where he I think it was Leon Bailey might have got to the byline, but he does that to every player. He does that to every player in the Premier League, but consistently he wasn't doing that. So I think that back two, centre-back pairing is going to work. It's just whether that midfield, and I agree with what you're saying, Sean, about Basuma. But Basuma, for me, is almost a little bit too, comfortable sometimes. He looks too comfortable. He's like the game's all. I think he does need a little bit of, you did that last week. Not to say you're not going to start this week, but he needs to be kept on his toes to keep his performances high. And the fact that we've got Bentancur, and when I saw what Basuma, what's his name, Højbjerg did when he came on, now he's got an opportunity as well. So this is the good thing about having three midfielders and then at least two that can come in and push them, because they might need to be pushed. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, people on whichever format you're watching PRTV Spurs Paxton Road TV preview show, let's have a look. Let's see what you're predicting for the scoreline tomorrow at Craven Cottage. Put them in your comment section, please. what you reckon the score will be, as I'm sure, starting with Sean, he will tell me his predicted score for tomorrow.
Yeah, predicted score for tomorrow. This is where Tottenham always make you look like a mug. I think we'll win. I do feel Fulham have the potential to score, so I'm going to go 3-1 to Spurs.
3-1 to Spurs. Jews Nuts is saying Fulham 0, Spurs 3. The Alex Scott experience is saying Spurs 2, Fulham 2. Okay. Sean is saying 3-1. Do you want to throw in a goal scorers or not?
Yeah, Kulu's going to score. I think he's after his interview this week. I think he'll be keen to score. Son again, and maybe a substitute Werner if he comes on or something like that.
Lovely. Oh, what's Alex Scott? I hope we win 3-1. There's hopes and dreams. Remember, they fade away like certain till up down the road. Yeah, so don't want hopes. We want that. Tekken is saying 2-1 to us. Fight. Okay, and Mr. Sam, what are you saying?
Yeah, I was. Everybody's taking my thunder. 3-1 is what I'm going for, and I'm going for the fact that I think we're going to be probably a couple of goals up, and I think they'll maybe get a consolation goal. I'm looking at this game being a little bit different to the Villa game. I think although we were in control of the Villa game, we didn't have a lot of opportunities in that first half. I suspect that we're going to get more in this first half, and I think that's going to be a thing that Andrew's going to want. So I see 2-0 up in the first half and the game ending 3-1. Son, brace, and I'm going to go with a set-piece goal, possibly to come from Romero.
Okay. So that's you, 3-1. I think it's going to be it's going to be not as hard as the game not in terms of, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think Fulham will, like you said, it's a London derby, innit? So teams always up their games in London derbies, and Fulham probably will do the same. However, I think after last week, I think the confidence in Spurs is high, and I'm going with 3-0 to Spurs. And I think Kulu, Son, and believe it or not, Sam, I agree with what you're saying, a set-piece goal, but I think it's going to be a debut goal for Mr. Drag you sin, Radu, drag you sin, drag you sin. I think Drag you sin scores the winner. Well, not a winner, but he scores one of the 3 goals.
That's not going to catch on, Sid, that song.
It does, trust me. It does. Radu, drag you sin, drag. Anyway, technically, I want to see that Son take match by the scruff of the neck. He wants to see Son take the... Yep, I agree. Right,
Well,
gentlemen.
A bit like he did to Vicario when he went down.
Yes.
Sin bin for Sid for that song. 100% facts from Jews Nuts. Sin bin. Or a Sid bin. Sid bin for that song.
Sid bin. A Sid bin. Right. Ladies, gents, my fellow panelists, thank you for joining us for the preview show. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, smash that like button, give us a follow, including you, Donna Cullen. Wherever you're watching the game tomorrow at 5:30, enjoy the game, and as always, Spurs, come on, as always, and come and join us on Sunday for the reaction show, because when it's calm, we have a nice conversation and we break things down, as always, because passion after a game is a good thing, but sometimes not always the best, because you can end up saying things. Sam might even say he's single to Donna Cullen. You never know. But guys, enjoy. Have a good weekend as well. And as always, thank you very much, Sam and Sean. Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Develop